afternoon. Welcome everyone to Thurston County's 2018 swearing-in ceremony. I am Tilly Napati-Polar, the elections manager for Thurston County. It is my privilege to be the master of ceremonies today in place of Thurston County Auditor Mary Hall, who's actually enjoying warmer climates right now and a well-deserved break before the new year. We are going to begin today with our flag ceremony. We are pleased to have very distinguished Thurston County Sheriff's Office Honor Guard and Sheriff Snaza, who will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Will you please stand?
Mark time. March. Till. Oh. Right, please. Ready? See. Dress. Honor Guard, uniform personnel, present arms.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order, arms. Ready? Please. Forward, march.
Thank you, Sheriff Snaza and our Honor Guard. It is my pleasure to introduce Reverend Carol McKinley, who will lead us in our invocation. Reverend Carol McKinley, an Olympia resident since 1970, received her Master in Divinity from Seattle University's School of Theology and Ministry in 2004. She received a Bachelor of Arts in English Literature and Writing from the University of Washington. She has taught English in high schools and community colleges, and even owned an Olympia out-of-print bookstore. She has 2 daughters and a 2 almost grown grandson, and lives with her partner, Barbara Gibson. Please help me in welcoming Reverend Carol McKinley. Please stand.
Spirit of life and love which moves through us and through the world, we ask that those entrusted today with leadership in Thurston County be reminded of the responsibilities before them, that they may be true and faithful in carrying them forward. May each of us, elected officials, all those in public service, and citizens alike maintain a sense of perspective, understanding our limitations and our own shortcomings, forgiving ourselves and others if we fall short of perfection. May each of us be ready to see fresh opportunity, new understandings, new avenues for action and resolution. May each of us remember these virtues that bless our lives and the lives of others. The virtues of caring and compassion, the virtues of honesty and respect, the virtues of charity and patience. May all those elected to serve the residents of Thurston County hold a high sense of their calling, remembering that they are invested here with deep responsibility to make decisions that will bring the greatest good to the greatest number of people, that they are called to a wider vision of this community and this world, a community more fair, more just, more equitable by their efforts. Amen, and so may it be. You may be seated.
Thank you, Reverend McKinley, for that wonderful message. Before we go any further, I want to thank a few people. Events like this don't happen without a dedicated staff. I would like to thank our own Chief Deputy Auditor, Diana Benson, and my elections team in the Auditor's Office. A special thank you to my staff, Lynette Thornton and Callie Melidi, and Thomasina Cooper, for organizing today's ceremony. I also want to thank South Puget Sound Community College for allowing us to use of this wonderful facility. Please join me in thanking these folks. We are pleased today to have a number of elected officials in attendance. Please stand and be recognized when I call your name. Thurston County Prosecuting Attorney John Thunheim. Chief Justice, Washington State Supreme Court, Mary Fairhurst. Sheriff John Snaza. Thurston County Clerk Linda Enlow. Thurston County Coroner Gary Warnock. Thurston County Treasurer Jeff Gadman. Thurston County Assessor Stephen Drew. 10th Congressional District, Congressman Denny Heck. Retired Senator Karen Frazier. Retired County Commissioner Sandra Romero. Public Utility District, Chris Stearns. Senator Sam Hunt. Is there anybody else we missed? Great job, staff. Today is a day of recognition, commitment, and celebration in front of our families, our friends, and the public. This is the day which we will take an oath, you will take an oath to uphold the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution and laws of this state of Washington. You will swear to do your job as elected officials to the best of your abilities, and this oath of office is just that first step. It is my honor to introduce Washington State Supreme Court Justice Mary Fairhurst as our honorary speaker and the administrator of today's oaths of office. Mary Fairhurst became a justice of the Washington State Supreme Court in 2003. She became Chief Justice in 2017. As our Chief Justice, she is the court's chief spokesperson, presiding over the Supreme Court in hearings and conferences. She co-chairs the State Board of Judicial Administration. Currently, she also chairs the Judicial Information System Committee. Prior to her election to the court, she worked for 16 plus years as a Washington State Assistant Attorney General and 2 years as a law clerk at the Washington Supreme Court. It is my honor and privilege to introduce to you, to give our keynote speaking, Chief Justice Mary Fairhurst.
Well, good afternoon. It's my great pleasure to be with you and to be able to administer the oaths to the Thurston County officials who have been elected and who will serve this community. It's really important in this time of a lot of noise and cacophony that our elected officials recognize the very important role that they play, and looking at the ones in the room, that you play every day in your offices, in our community, as part of our state and as part of our world. And you really set the tone for the community's trust and confidence in our government, which is so important. We are called upon to be stewards of justice, to be sure that fairness and equality
are delivered in our offices and through the work that we're doing. And so often people think, well, I just have a small role, I can't possibly make any difference. And I'm reminded of one of my favorite stories about how we do make a difference and we get to decide the difference we make. And it's the story of a person who heads down to the beach after a big storm to see what is washed up. And standing on the bluff looking down, they can see there's just a lone person walking on the shore, but interestingly, they're just taking a step or two and leaning over and throwing something into the water. When they come down off the bluff onto the shore, they can see that the beach is covered with hundreds of starfish. And as they catch up with the lone person on the beach, they greet each other and he asks, well, what are you doing? And he says, well, I'm throwing the starfish into the sea. And he says, why are you doing that? There are hundreds of starfish. You can't possibly make any difference. And as he leans over and picks up the starfish and throws it into the sea, he said, well, I made a difference to that one. Every day you get to make a difference in your interactions with those in your offices, with those who come to your offices, and those in the community who need your help. Your decisions, your policies that you enact and enforce make a difference to all the people. And what people think about us and what people think about government is in your hands. You get to control that. The other message I wanted to leave in my short honorary keynote, because we're really here to hear Congressman Denny Heck, is I think it's important that we see each other. And I have 12 living nieces and nephews, and when they were little, I would look at them and go like this. And before they could even talk, their little thumb could go up when they were in the bassinet. And what I was saying to them was, I see you and I think you're great. And as they grew up and the more people and more activities, I'd sit across the room in a large family gathering and I'd just catch their eye and I'd go like this. It's so important that we really see each other, that you see the people with whom you work, you see the people that come to your counters or the people that you interact with on the street. Their only interaction with government might be you. How they view government and how they view how we serve people, which is what we who have always been in the public sector have done, depends on you seeing them and recognizing their individual dignity and respect that all of us are due just by virtue of being humans and being here. And so I want to tell you, as Chief Justice and as a member of the Washington State Supreme Court and as a community member, for 34 and a half years I have lived in Olympia and Thurston County, that I see you. And I think that the work you are doing is great and that you are making a difference every single day and you get to decide the difference you make. And now more than ever, we need everyone to stand up and be their best selves, to see the best selves in others so that together as a community we can live to our highest ideals and our highest goals, because by choosing to work together we can and do make a difference. Thank you for having me with you.
Thank you, Chief Justice Fairhurst. We see you too. Oh, yes, sorry. And now we're at that point where we're going to be swearing in our newly elected officials. As I call your position and your name, please come to the stage to be sworn in. Once you have completed your swearing in, you will proceed to the other side of the table in which you will sign your oath of office, and which you will get your certificate of election from Congressman Denny Heck. It is my pleasure to call Thurston County Assessor Stephen Drew.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Stephen J. Drew,
I, Stephen J. Drew,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution and laws
and the Constitution and laws
of the State of Washington,
of the State of Washington,
and that I will faithfully and impartially perform
and that I will faithfully and impartially perform
and discharge the duties of the office
and discharge the duties of the office
of Thurston County Assessor
of Thurston County Assessor
according to law,
according to law,
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thurston County Clerk, Linda Enlow.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Linda Enlow,
I, Linda Enlow,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution and laws
and the Constitution and laws
of the State of Washington,
of the State of Washington,
and that I will faithfully and impartially perform
and that I will faithfully and impartially perform
and discharge the duties of the office
and discharge the duties of the office
of Thurston County Clerk
of Thurston County Clerk
according to law,
according to law,
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thurston County Coroner, Gary Warnock.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Gary Warnock,
I, Gary Warnock,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of the State of Washington,
and the Constitution and laws of the State of Washington.
and that I will faithfully and impartially perform
I will faithfully and partially inform
and discharge the duties of the office
and discharge the duties of the office
of Thurston County Coroner
of Thurston County Coroner
according to law,
according to law,
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much,
You're
Your Honor.
very welcome.
Thurston County Prosecuting Attorney, John Thunheim.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, John Thunheim,
I, John Thunheim,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of the State of Washington,
and the Constitution and laws of the State of Washington,
and that I will faithfully and impartially perform
and that I will faithfully and impartially perform
and discharge the duties of the office
and discharge the duties of the office
of Thurston County Prosecuting Attorney
of Thurston County Prosecuting Attorney
according to law,
according to law,
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Thurston County Sheriff, John Snaza.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, John D. Snaza,
I, John D. Snaza,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I'll support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of the State of Washington,
and the Constitution and laws of the State of Washington,
and that I will faithfully and impartially perform
and that I will faithfully and impartially perform
and discharge the duties of the office
and discharge the duties of the office
of Thurston County Sheriff
of Thurston County Sheriff
according to law,
according to law,
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations, John.
Thurston County Treasurer Jeff Gadman.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Jeff Gadman,
I, Jeff Gadman,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of the State of Washington,
and the Constitution and laws of the State of Washington,
and that I will faithfully and impartially perform
and I will faithfully and impartially perform
and discharge the duties of the office
and discharge the duties of the office
of Thurston County Treasurer
of Thurston County Treasurer
according to law,
according to law,
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Again, thank you, Chief Justice Fairhurst. A longtime community leader, our keynote speaker has proudly represented Washington's 10th Congressional District in the United States House of Representatives since 2012. Congressman Heck served his community in the state of House of Representatives for nearly a decade. He was chosen by his colleagues to serve as the majority leader before retiring in 1986. While in the state House, Congressman Heck was one of the prime authors of the state's historic Basic Education Act. After his time in the legislature, he served as Chief of Staff to Governor Booth Gardner during his second term. Congressman Heck is a native Washingtonian and graduated from the Evergreen State College in 1973. He's been married for 39 years to his beautiful wife, Paula, and together they have two sons, Bob and Trey, along with a beautiful granddaughter, Malia. Please help me in welcoming Congressman Denny Heck.
Make that 42 years, Tilly. I don't want to miss a single minute of the wedded bliss I've had the privilege to occupy. So next week I get to do what you just did. I get to raise my right hand and take the oath and swear to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States, repeating back the words that the speaker recites to us. Usually in the U.S. House of Representatives, right before that occurs, the Dean of the House administers the oath of office to the Speaker. Now, the Dean of the House is an honorary title that is conferred upon the longest serving member of the House of Representatives. This year it will be Don Young from Alaska. But way back in 2013, when I was first sworn in, I watched as then Speaker John Boehner was sworn in by a man named John Dingell of Michigan. John served in the United States House of Representatives from 1955 until 2014. He is the longest serving member of the United States House of Representatives in our nation's history. He was actually elected at age 29 to succeed his father, who died prematurely. To put his lifetime into perspective, John was actually a teenage son of Congressman John Dingell Sr. in the House chamber on December 8th, 1941, when President Roosevelt gave his "A Day That Shall Live in Infamy" speech. So for 59 years, which is almost my entire lifetime, and through 11 different presidents, from Eisenhower to Obama, John devoted tireless hours to not just his constituency, but frankly for the betterment of this nation. And he didn't do it, I hasten to add, because of lack of opportunity elsewhere or because it was easy, because it sure as heck is not easy Many companies, many organizations would have jumped at the chance to have somebody of John Dingell's intellect and wit as a part of their organization. And he could have also, frankly, retired many years ago to the golden years, as it were. But instead, John Dingell chose to have one of the best and one of the toughest bosses imaginable, the people of America. He chose the most challenging task imaginable, finding common ground and compromise to advance good public policy. So, once again, back on the floor of the U.S. House in January of 2013, we began to take votes. We mill around. You see it on C-SPAN. There's the kind of the chaos as the votes are being tallied on screen. And I wandered around and spotted John Dingell at his usual place down in what we call the well of the house, which would be like this down toward the beginning. And so I went over and I sat down next to him to ask him the question I'd been dying to ask him and that so many of my new colleagues had already asked him. Remember, I was a freshman, bright-eyed, new, was thinking maybe I've got a chance to figure out the secret ingredient, the secret sauce that John Dingell had applied through nearly 6 decades. So I said, "Sir, give me some advice. Anything that you think would help me on our journey here." And John turned to me and said, "First, don't call me sir. My name is John, and in this place we're all equals. Your vote counts every bit as much as mine does. Don't ever forget that." So that was one piece of advice. But I pressed him again. Help me understand how to navigate my way on the journey here. And he turned to me and said words that I will never, ever, ever forget. He said, "You have a very important job. A very important job. And you're not a very important person." Amen to that. I've thought about that a lot and what it was that John was really saying. And here's what I think it is. You're elected. You have power, sometimes great power, but it's not about you. You're not very important indeed. It's about others. So stay humble. Stay humble. Because it is only through humility that you can truly empathize with others, with those that you were sent here to represent and to serve. And remember, it was also Franklin Delano Roosevelt who once asked what was the most important quality of a leader. He said the ability to empathize, to see the world from the other person's point of view, to walk in their shoes, as it were. So this job we have, representing the public, it's not easy. In fact, it's very hard. You have power in your realm. And all around you, you have people reminding you of that on a regular basis. And so it presents this great paradox of having power but empathizing through humility. And humility itself is the greatest paradoxical virtue I can imagine. And why is that? Because the minute you think you have it, by definition, you don't. It's very hard to balance these things. This work in the public sector is not easy. It's always hard, and it's not always appreciated, but it is, of course, necessary and important. Thurston County has a particularly high standard because we have raised the bar so very high by virtue of the behavior of those who have gone before us, at least 2 of whom are sitting in our audience. I raise my hands in respect to both you, Karen and Sandra. I frankly have no doubt that each of you who is being sworn in again today will rise to the occasion and make us all proud. You know, after 6 years, I am continually surprised, however, that among the honors of this opportunity to serve others are the occasional surprises. It never ceases to amaze me that surprises keep occurring. As a consequence of my now being elected to my 4th term, 6 years, I have an improved seniority position, and it enabled me to choose a new office. Now, as you might well imagine, offices in Washington, D.C. are very hierarchical, and they're allocated according to seniority. And I had the opportunity this year to move on up to the 4th floor of the Rayburn building. Now, it's one of 3 office buildings for the House members. I'm in Cannon. I'm as far from the U.S. Capitol as is humanly possible and still be on campus. But I had a chance to choose an office on the 4th floor of the newest office building, Rayburn, which was finished over 50 years ago in 1965. And so, of course, as we were preparing to move in, I wanted to check the roster. They keep this of those who had occupied the office before. I did this for the office I just left, Cannon 425, and in my deep chagrin, I learned that it had once been occupied by Edwin Edwards of Louisiana, who had just gotten out of jail when I moved into the office for racketeering. He was 80-some years old, and he married a 30-year-old woman. It was unbelievable. I didn't even want to be there. But I checked the roster for Rayburn 2452, and its very first occupant, John Dingle. The circle of life. And by the way, for those of you who don't follow John Dingle now on his tweet, however that is expressed, if you don't follow his tweets, as he nears his 90s, he is making a new career out of being a tweet comic and satirist, and it is pretty hilarious. I've come full circle, remembering those early days, thinking about the time in between and embracing the challenges to come. I'm honored to be here with all of you as you turn the page and begin your new chapter of public service and leadership in this community. In fact, I'm even humbled. I can't wait to see what you will all do for us. Thank you for the privilege to be with you today.
That's a tough act to follow, Congressman Heck. We value your important message and incredible impact you have and the service you have in our community. I thank you for your leadership. Congratulations to all our newly electeds, whether you're returning to office or starting new. As you get ready to assume or resume your respective positions in local government, I will leave you with a final thought. Public service is the very American idea that we meet our challenges not as isolated individuals, but as members of the community. With all of us working together, it is our mission to bring different voices together to build a common vision for Thurston. I hope for each and every one of you that your public service is meaningful and rewarding. This ends our celebration today. Please join us in the lobby for some light refreshments and a chance to congratulate all our newly elected officials. Thank you for coming.